Hello, fellow travelers. Welcome to Respawn Station. My name is Kandula, and today I'm joined once again by Nick Sivak for the
Yes.
final episode of the show. Parentheses, clickbait. First of all, Nick, we gotta give the people some time to, sit and stew. How was your time off? You were gone for a whopping 2 episodes, in which Austin filled in. Sorry, I need to play to the bit. Nick, it sucks that you went back to your old camera, man. I was enjoying the HD camera, but we're I'm glad you're here, man. How's your time off?
Yeah, sometimes newer tech, it
It
just
doesn't.
doesn't beat the old stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we,
yeah.
we just had to
I,
pull this one
I
back
should have
out.
sold that bit a little bit sooner, but I remembered halfway through my remarks.
No, it was a very nice time off. This year's been a little bit weird for me because I don't usually travel a whole lot, and I've had like 3 different instances of traveling this year. So it's definitely been different, but yeah, it was very nice. My sister was getting married, so we went down to.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll pass that along to her.
Yes, yes.
Um, we went down to Key West, Florida, which was very warm compared to where we
Well,
are
yes,
up
yes, it
in
is.
the Northeast here. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Ate a lot of food. Went to the beach a couple
That's the
times, which was really
life.
nice.
That's the life.
Yeah, and then also because that was like the first part of the vacation. The second part, we went up to Orlando and went to Disney World, which I hadn't done that since I was a kid. And my parents, through like their credit card, they had these like tickets that were never supposed to expire. So after a
Oh,
lot of
hell yeah.
conversations and conversions, those tickets became actually usable. And so we just kind of did it all in one go. So
Nice.
it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
We were very tired by the end of it, though. So
Yeah, that's a
probably
lot
won't
in
do something like that
that's a
again.
lot in one trip, especially considering, you're like it's your first time on a flight, and so it's
Hmm.
you got a lot in there. Made the most of it. But welcome back for one last hoorah, because we are of course being a little bit suggestive. That's not the right word for this situation. With
Cagey.
yes, there you go. Regarding this being the final episode, but it is in fact the final episode of season 1 of the show. And there's a few reasons why we're doing this. It's mainly the fact that, if I'm being honest, Nick hates me. Nick is just cannot stand me, and so it just the cost to keep him on is just it's getting too high. So,
It was just so draining. Just talking about video games for
all the
two
all the
hours every week.
all the time. No. So essentially, there's a lot of. It's going to be it's a big few weeks coming up weeks for me, and you're gonna find. You want to know why? You got to find out next season. You got to come back for season 2, episode 1, and then I'll tell you what went on in the next few weeks. But there's that, and then also because of me being away for a little bit and then coming back, and then I have to got other stuff to do. And also Nick is working on. Oh snap! It's here. It is, Nick. What is it? I don't want to. I'll give you the.
Season 2 of Weecember.
There it is. Look at that. See, look. Now we're all look at. We sound so professional now. All we needed to do was break it up conveniently. I was hoping. Like, look, I got to be honest. Reason number 3, having a season sounds cool, but I didn't want to do it for no reason, but this happens to be a natural reason for us to take a little break, and we'll come back with hopefully cooler ideas. Um, I have one idea at least that I'm trying to, I'm hoping to get ready for next season. So stick around. There's going to be exciting stuff. Nick, are you gonna? Do you want
And
to tease
hey,
something for season 2? I mean, season.
For season 2 of the
Just
podcast
put,
or
yeah, just
December?
either one, dude. Just throw a teaser out there for the people. You know what I mean?
I think for season 2 of the podcast,
I threw him under the bus. He knows nothing. There's no setup here.
uh, we'll both do an episode where we're not allowed to have any liquids along with us. We'll see how that goes.
Whoa, interesting. Look at that. Challenge episodes coming soon.
Yeah, challenge run podcast episodes.
I like this. And that's why you innovate under pressure. See, that's why I do what I do, Nick. Now, I won't tease any more of what's to come, but I will say that later in this episode, well, it's the end of the season. We got to end it on something special. So, Nick, I have put together a little quiz for you regarding our podcast. There's 10 questions. And there's 10 questions, and we're gonna see how Nick does in this little little game show. So we'll get to that soon. But first, as always, for the last time in 2024, Nick, what are you playing?
So, there's one main game that I've been playing, but I figured I would take the opportunity to talk a little bit about some arcade games.
Oh, snap.
As I was on vacation, I always like to scope out the local arcades whenever possible, see what kind of cool games I can get my hands on in an arcade, because that's not something that, with the exception of barcades, if you live in maybe an area that has one of those, it's really a bygone era that we can't really experience too much anymore. So there's 2 arcades that I went to, basically. One arcade was in this pub bar kind of restaurant in Key West.
Yep.
And this arcade was kind of crap, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, okay, can I get their name and address, please?
No, unfortunately, but they did have some games there. One that I really like to play when I go to the arcade, if they have it. I'm not sure if you've seen these out and about, Sri, but they have these giant LED shooter games that are like Space Invaders, and it's on an LED wall.
Yes,
so it's not like a screen, but they all just have LED lights and everything.
Yep.
And so I got to play a little bit of that, but then something else stuck out in the corner to me that I wanted to give a try, and that was Halo Fireteam Raven. Which is
this the one
Halo...
that looks like is it a warthog? You go into it, right? You sit inside of it?
Yeah, you sit inside of something, and there's a gun.
Okay.
It's not really a warthog, but
it's yeah. I've seen this one around.
Yeah, I just was curious about it, and it was fun. It was kind of like a light gun shooter version of Halo.
I always wanted to play it, but it's always so expensive when you go to the arcades. It's like one of the most expensive things there. So I was like, I gotta, get points. I gotta reward myself. So
the nice thing about this arcade, I think they probably just set a lot of them to the minimal, because I think it was only $1 to play. Or
nice,
if even that. But yeah, graphically, it felt like it was on the Combat Evolve Anniversary Edition, so not quite new Halo, but not quite super old. And yeah, it was okay. There was a really cool part where Master Chief comes out in front of you and starts shooting Covenant, and then goes down a hallway or something. So it just seemed kind of goofy.
So you're not playing as Master Chief?
Nah, you're playing as I think just some regular UNSC soldiers. But
you can make your own lore, dude. That's incredible.
Pretty much. It's they really just kind of get you in and get you shooting. So that one was okay. But the second arcade that we went to actually had a bit more variety and a lot of games that I liked. So there was a Guitar Hero arcade, which I of course had to play around in. Guitar Hero Arcade is basically Guitar Hero 3, but with, an arcade setup and
Right.
special guitars. The guitar was very gross feeling and was also slightly busted, so
Damn.
didn't do as well as I had hoped on that. But the main game that caught my eye immediately, because it was unlike anything else that was in the arcade, was a little game developed by Sega called Afterburner Climax.
Mm.
Um, and Afterburner is this like jet pilot, like hyper action,
Is
flying game.
is this the wait? It's not something you sit on. Is this like a?
It's another one that you sit on, but it doesn't like move or anything. It's
Oh,
just like
okay.
a joystick and a thruster thing.
Oh, okay, okay.
And yeah, I'd never played this game, this
Me
series, or
neither.
anything. I've never even watched gameplay of it. But I saw it because it was like, outside of all the other generic games in the arcade or like the racing
Right.
games, it's like Afterburner. That's a random one to have in here. So I played that and it was really fun. You tilt the stick like, you know, an inch or two in either direction, and the plane is like rolling like completely on its side super fast. You're firing rockets and machine guns constantly. Planes are coming at you from every angle.
Hell
So
yeah.
yeah, it was
That
very
sounds.
short, but it was very fun.
You said Sega. This is Sega.
Yep. I believe Afterburner is like a Sega property.
Dang. I haven't even. I don't think if I've even seen one of these out in the wild.
Yeah, like I said, it was a really weird one. That's what caught my eye on it. There's like, other arcade games that are just like, Big Buck Hunter and stuff like that, and then just a random Afterburner cabinet. So that, yeah, I didn't play like a whole lot of arcade stuff, but I did get to dabble in a couple different things
Nice.
here and there, and
Yeah.
had a lot of fun with it.
Hell yeah. Well, no, on the note of arcades, I will say that I've had this. We had this code, for an arcade collection, on the PS5, and Nick and I talked about it, and we're like, all right, well, I was gonna cover it, and it's been sitting on my console, and I have to I just haven't played. I have to play this arcade game. It's essentially like a bunch of arcade games in one game. So
Hmm.
look, I'm not gonna say season two. Nick, I'm not gonna say it. So you gotta say it. Say it. Say season. You gotta say season
I have
two.
to say,
Yeah,
season 2 right
there it
now.
is. Yeah, there it is. There you go. See, he said it, not me. Um, I'm hoping that I get to it. All right, is there anything else you've been playing though, Nick?
Yeah, if we want
Other
to talk
than your
about
arcade
the
escapades?
main, the non-arcade game,
I was gonna say,
over the
yeah.
trip, I started The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Um,
Started but not
Obviously,
finished, or
correct. Yeah, I'm
okay,
still
okay,
playing it. I don't know how long it is, but based on how much of the map I've explored, I would think I'm maybe like a quarter or a third of the way through the game.
nice.
I'm maybe like 8 to 10 hours to give like a time frame of where
Okay,
I'm at. So I've done like two of the main dungeons. Zelda games usually have multiple dungeons. I'm not sure how many are in this one, but if we're gonna separate the map into like 5 quadrants,
yeah,
I've basically done like the bottom, like bottom quadrant.
right,
So,
right, sure.
but yeah, obviously big Zelda fan, lifelong Zelda fan, and finally had a good opportunity because I was going to be away from my usual gaming setup, to bring out the Switch, and I was like, all right, Zelda's going to be my travel game, and it's really fun so far. It's very different from a gameplay, like, I guess combat is very different, obviously,
Sure.
because in this game you play as Zelda, which you've done in like spin-off games before and stuff, but this is the first like mainline entry that you get to play as Zelda, and she meets this little, I don't really know what they are yet. They haven't really explained them, but it's almost like a fairy called Tri. And Tri summons this rod that you get to use, and basically you get to make copies of things you find in the environment, whether it's like furniture or enemies that you defeat.
Mhm.
And this rod can make copies of them that you can basically use to your advantage. So, say there's a wall that's blocking your path,
There's a
and you
wall in your
learned,
way.
yeah,
It's a quote from
you
it's a quote from Bumblebee, but you know, if you know, you
oh,
know. Go ahead.
I did not, unfortunately.
Dang it, Nick! You haven't seen the hit movie Bumblebee starring John Cena and Haley Steinfeld?
The last Transformers I saw was Revenge of the Fallen, I think. I
Oh
don't think I've seen
wow,
any of them past that one.
wow. But
Wait, which
anyway,
one's the third one? Was it that one or Dark Side of the Moon?
yeah, Dark Side of the Moon is the third one.
Okay, I saw that one. I saw
Okay,
that
okay.
trilogy and then never
Yeah, I know.
never surpassed.
I didn't even know there was some of those out there. There's one called The Last Night, Nick. Did you know that?
I knew of
I didn't
it.
even know that movie existed. But anyway, let's continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, the so yeah, like say there's a wall in your way, and then you learn this echo of a table. You can then spawn in tables and make yourself like a set of stairs that you can jump up and go over. So that's like one way that you can interact with the environment with different echoes.
Right.
In combat, you can learn echoes of enemies that you defeat. So, like maybe you defeated a spear throwing moblin, and once you learn that, you're able to spawn that in, and it'll start attacking nearby enemies.
Right.
So you kind of have to rewire your brain if you're very used to, traditional Zelda games where you usually have a sword or like a bow
Right.
and arrow.
Mm-hmm.
You do still get to use a sword. Basically, you collect Link's sword, and you get this meter essentially that lets you activate like a sword fighter form, and you get to use his sword, and you also get like a higher jump than Zelda usually has.
Oh, nice.
But this meter will constantly be burning as you're using it, and
Mm.
then you'll have to collect energy that's out in the world to refill this bar. So it's not something that like you can constantly use. You definitely want to save it for like trickier encounters or like during boss fights. It's definitely helpful.
Nice. Yeah. No.
Um,
It does seem like a very like I don't know. The mechanics, right? It feels similar in to me from the outside of like Tears of the Kingdom, where it's like everything's baked into that the core mechanics of the game, which this is
mhm.
that copy paste mechanic. Not quite.
There's
A little redundant.
there's a lot of
But
similarities and like weirdly a lot of differences to Tears of the Kingdom, which is what's really funny. So like when you're going through the menus to select different items to use,
yeah.
it uses this horizontal selection bar, which is basically pulled right out of Tears of the Kingdom, which you
Hmm.
use to like cycle through items.
Sure. Right.
And it was
Yeah.
one thing that I mentioned in my review where I was like, this thing is so clunky to like sort through, and it's like a little bit better, but it still doesn't feel great to use in Echoes of Wisdom.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of emphasis on like kind of player choice. So like I said that I did the bottom quadrant as like my first kind of area, which is the Gerudo Desert.
Oh, okay.
But I could have also chose to go to the northeast up to this like Zora water tribe. So they kind of let you go wherever you want. Again, the being able to stack items and make staircases anywhere kind of just lets you break the boundaries of the games. Like usually in
Right.
more traditional Zelda games like this, trees are like how they funneled you everywhere. Like you can't get past trees. But in this one, you can just like climb up on top of the trees and like walk around like in out of bounds areas, more or less.
Right.
So there's a lot of really interesting, like kind of creative problem solving, and
Hmm.
combat encounters or puzzles have multiple different solutions as long as you can figure out a way with your given tools to work around it. It's a viable solution. At the same time, this game that I really like about it is it kind of folds back in some more of those traditional elements. So the dungeons feel a lot more structured than I found in like Tears of the Kingdom. Uh, there's there's just like a more simpler progression, whereas
Sure.
kind of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, it kind of feels like they just like really let you go anywhere. It's like once you get off your tutorial area, it's like okay,
You're free
like
to
go
yeah,
to
free
the
to
end.
roam. Yeah.
Whereas this, it does feel like there's more of a narrative here. There's more of a structure here that I really appreciate. It's like it gives you enough freedom uh to feel like you're having like impactful choices, but it's all still funneling you, in a specific path, which was one of my big kind of issues with Tears of the Kingdom, was that I really felt like the narrative didn't really line up well with the how the gameplay worked out.
Yeah.
This I'm enjoying it a lot better so far. So I think they're playing with stuff that they were working on with the big 3D games, but having it set in this top-down kind of perspective, like the Link's Awakening remake, I think is giving them enough like restriction and focus that it doesn't feel like so overwhelming, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So overall, though, I mean, you're hot on it. It's just something you're going to see through to the end.
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely gonna finish it. The music, I do want to give a quick highlight. The
Sure.
music is incredible in this game. Like, I don't know if I've found one track that I don't really like. It's not anything that's like, super crazy or mind blowing or anything,
Sure.
but it's just like every
But it
town I
fits
go
what it's
into, it's
going
like,
for.
oh, that's nice. Yeah, the Hyrule Field theme is really nice in this game. I've been listening to it at work on loop, so uh,
Hell
I
yeah.
wanted to give a special highlight to the music. But yeah, it's it feels like it's going to be a pretty good pace. I'm enjoying the kind of side stories they have here. And I mean, obviously as a Zelda fan, like I'm gonna see it through to the end, but I'm having more fun with it than I thought because watching the trailers, I really wasn't sure how the combat kind of direction I was going to like.
Right.
If it was like, if it is a lot of like summoning and stuff like that, that's not typically like a play style in games that I usually, blend
Right.
well
Yep.
with.
Yep.
Um, but it really hasn't been that overly complex or that like insistent that you need to, you know, completely shuffle around what you're doing at any given time. You can definitely find like a couple of echoes that kind of suit your basic needs and you can get through most of the time. And then
Nice.
if you can't, just pop the sword fighter mode and just go to town with that. So,
Nice.
yeah, definitely a lot of fun. Still kind of early days, but really really enjoying it so far.
Hell yeah. Anything else you're playing?
No, that's it. I haven't had as much time to play, obviously, with all the travel. But Sri, I've been talking your ear off. I want to hear if you've been playing anything.
My ears are here to be talked off, Nick. Honestly, I'm here to satisfy the audience, Nick. And unfortunately, I have I'm all I can do is blue ball because here's the thing. The games that I have been playing, I've played a little bit of a smattering of different games. Um but look, I'll list them off for you guys. Split Second. Still playing it. And like I've talked about it already, but go to watch.respawnstation.com to see the clip of my review on it. I've also been playing the game Since Memories Off the Stars, and you can read my thoughts about that game over on respawnstation.com. And I've also talked about it on the podcast. Again, I don't want to just constantly reiterate the same things. To keep my point, I've also been playing X Defiant, a game that I've talked about plenty on the podcast. And but again, those are minor. The main games that I've been playing, Nick, is Condemned Criminal Origins. I'm finally catching up in this game. But of course, I can't talk about it because that you got to watch Retrograde. Whenever we film the Retrograde, we'll be able to talk about it. And so, my lips are sealed until then.
It's funny because I've played it so long ago at this point
Yeah, you
now.
had a whole.
I mean, it
You
was
had a
only a
whole.
month ago, but
Yeah,
it's like oh, I'm gonna have to look at my notes to remind myself.
I've actually started. Look, we can talk. I'll talk about this briefly because I've been for certain games. I've been wanting to like, at the very least, my notes. I don't know how your notes look, Nick, but my notes are usually very simple. Like, on a page in a notebook, it's you know plus and then a circle if it's like a positive thing that I'm noting, and if it's minus in a circle if it's a negative thing I'm noting. So it's very rudimentary, and if it's like a fact or something, it's like an X in a circle. And so it's very simple method I have going on. But I've recently, for certain kind of games where you're supposed to be in character, I'm trying to like journal a little bit more, kind of like what I did with Starfield, where it's like this my Starfield diary. I've been trying to do that just for myself, just to have certain games, and I'm sort of doing that for Condemned, but we'll see how far that goes. But so far it's been interesting because that game's. I'm not gonna talk about it. Nick. I'm not gonna say what it is. I'm not gonna say what I think about it. But anyway, I've also been playing quite a lot of VR. Okay, I've been spending a lot of time in virtual reality, Nick, and one of the games that I've been playing is embargoed. I cannot talk about it, but it's pretty cool. So there's that. It's coming out next week. I'll have my thoughts written out over on respawnstation.com for you guys to check out. But yeah, it's definitely a cool one. Coming out next week on MetaQuest 3, or I guess MetaQuest, whatever it is. But along with that, there was a sale on this random game I saw. And by the way, I have like no real game. I have Batman and this game that I've just said is embargoed. So I only have I own 2 games, right? Like the rest of the games that you get through the MetaQuest Plus, it expires. Once it expires, if you unsubscribe, it's gone. It's just like PlayStation Plus. So I only own 2 games. So I saw a game that was $1, Nick, 99 cents, and I was like, I gotta get it. And it's called Home Invasion. And so essentially, what you do is you put on the headset and it scans your play area to wherever it is, and it maps out where like the windows and the doors are, and then once you start the game, it essentially does like a virtual like screen over your doors and windows, and it turns it into like a zombie invasion. So like it's like like Call of Duty Zombies at that point where there's nailed up windows and like zombies are breaking through, and then they'll start kind of invading your space. And so that one I actually got a little bit intense because it's like the thing that I wasn't expecting about it, because it's I should also say it's one of the first games that I've played that's not just virtual reality, it's mixed reality. So there's pass through, you're kind of actively seeing your the room that you're in. And so it was kind of crazy because like I'm getting into situations, Nick, that I didn't really imagine I'd be getting myself into. Like there was a point where I had literally fumbled my weapon out of my, like I didn't stash it right, so it just fell to the ground. And so I'm reaching for my hip, and I'm like, where the hell's my knife? And I look down, and I just see it all, like I'm just laying on the ground. I'm like, shit. So I gotta like pick it up, and then like I'm swinging this fucking knife around to kill these zombies. Like it was pretty intense. I got a little bit of a workout. So definitely enjoyed. Oh shit! I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say the sentence. The game was good. The game being Home Invasion. That's how I'm gonna phrase that.
Yeah, when you said that at first, I thought it was gonna be some kind of like horror game, like using your house or whatever, and like it would like
that'd be pretty
have
cool.
Like things like walk through your hallways and stuff like that. I was like, if it's something like
there's
that,
a market,
I would not be able to handle that.
If that was, Nick, dude. We need it. I don't know how. I don't know can't even begin to know how to begin a team to make a game like that. But I think there's a market there, Nick. And so if there's any developers out there watching or listening, God, look, we'll give you a free idea. Put us in the credits, and give Nick some money. You know what I mean? Then we can get 3
Not
hosts.
You, just me.
No, then we can get 3 hosts on the show. Maybe we can afford it. If you guys make it happen. Now, what was the last game that? Oh, well, look, the other game I'm not going to talk about because honestly, I can't talk about it. So that's why I've blue balled you guys today. Again, I'm hoping next season would come back, and I'm full and fresh. I'm ready with all the things, but I do have a pretty good stacked episode of the inbox. But of course, before we get there, it's time to talk about the news. Was that too smooth, Nick?
Yeah.
Was that too smooth of a transition? Does that feel like you can?
I think it was sufficiently smooth.
Okay. All right, take it away.
Yeah, so this was just real scattershot, some headlines that I grabbed 20 minutes before we started recording. So,
Let's talk about them.
let's talk about this one first because I think this is really cool. So, uh, Halo is celebrating, I believe, an anniversary for Halo 2 specifically around this time. I'm not sure. It might be 20 years, maybe.
Dang.
Maybe not. I'm not quite sure, but basically, something really cool has happened where there is this famous Halo 2 tech demo that was shown off at E3 prior to the game coming out. This would have been, I guess, like 2002 or 3, maybe.
Sure.
And it's been pretty famous because it has a lot of like reworked assets or like cut stuff that was just not in the final game. And the only real kind of, evidence of this was like really low quality like footage basically from the show floor of this demo being played.
Uh-huh.
And I guess this is Halo Studios now. I would have said 343, but
Yes.
Halo Studios.
Yes.
Basically, they have got that tech demo playable on the Master Chief collection. So via Steam, I believe my buddy Shane, he had played it, and he said you have to get it through like Steam Workshop to be able to play it.
Okay.
But it has like he said it was really choreographed and planned out, but it's just a really cool thing to be able to play this thing that only ever existed as like low quality cell phone footage, more or less. Probably wasn't even on a cell phone. It was probably filmed on cameras or whatever, but
who uses those anymore?
Being able to play something like this, this stuff just doesn't really happen all that often.
Right.
It's like if we were able to get our hands on that Star Wars 1313 demo and be able to play that. We can't talk about
Star Wars 1313 again, Nick. We've talked about it too much on the show.
Man, it's something like on that level though. That's just like so cool, and what a fun thing to release to people for the anniversary.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Look, I'm not even a big Halo fan, but I do appreciate kind of the respect for the legacy of Halo. But at the same time, look, they need people to they need to keep people's attention on Halo for at least the next few years until they can get the next Halo game out. All right, until the first Halo Studios game comes out. When do you think? Give me a ballpark, Nick. Though, give me a ballpark. When do you think that next Halo game will come out? Halo Studios presents, or from
2027.
Wow, optimistic.
I don't think it's going to be 26, but I think 27 is probably when that Combat Evolved remaster or remake will be a reality, because I think that is going to be the next game.
Oh, you know what? That's fair. I was thinking like a next Halo game, but that's 100% like that makes sense that they would release a collection like that. Have they confirmed anything?
I'm just like no, nothing's confirmed, but like I'm just so convinced that like because they're changing engines and everything, what better way to come to terms with your new tools than have a game that already has like an outline for you to just go in and then just kind of flex the tech aspects of building it in a new engine and everything. It just makes sense to me. I wouldn't put money down on it, but I've convinced myself that it's going to be Combat Evolved again.
I know that's a pretty good bet. I also, I would say 2027 is. Look, I mean, we don't know how long this game's been in progress, so this is purely skeptical. But I also think that, 2028. But, um, when is this next Xbox coming out? That's the deciding factor of the whole
Talk
equation.
of the town today, apparently.
Yes, yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
let's talk about what Xbox is working on next. Was that a decent transition, guys? Let me know in the comments below as we transition to the next topic.
Yeah, the Xbox. So Phil Spencer's been talking a lot, doing a lot of interviews the last 2 days, mainly from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And some random stuff coming out of here. Apparently, Xbox is working on a handheld system. Still a few years out on that, but that kind of makes sense to me.
I thought
mean,
they stopped
at
working
this
on that
point,
when they had it on like the Samsung TVs, but I guess that was just a stick, huh? But they were like, because they were originally working on like
yeah,
a game
I think
stick.
that was supposed to be like an Amazon Fire or something, or like a Chromecast. By handheld, I'm guessing this is going to be like, hey, it's our Switch or our Steam Deck, more likely, or like
The
our
checks better
ROG
be
Ally.
good, Nick. That's all I'm saying. For me to convert, I mean.
No, you'll still keep getting the checks from Gabe, and then I'll start getting them from Phil.
There we go. That's how we do it.
But yeah, real quick before we hopped on, I saw some people posting online about like another interview that had a tidbit about something else here. Let me grab this. Yeah,
we're getting
this
breaking
is coming
news
from Wario64, who is quoting from Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone. Okay.
Phil Spencer on Xbox will definitely do more consoles in the future and other devices. And then a comment on mid-cycle refreshes. We think about hardware that can create unique value for our players or creators on our platform. We don't need to do incremental hardware for our own benefit. So, kind of some non-answers on some of those, but hey, we're always working on hardware, which has kind of been Xbox's MO for a while.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, look, I love new hardware. I'm a sucker for new hardware, as long as, like, there's so many handheld PCs now. Like, for me, it's like, oh, there's a Nintendo Switch that's not, not a handheld PC, but a gaming machine, and then the Steam Deck, which is that, and then all of a sudden I blink and there's just like, there are Best Buys, there's like ROGs, and there's Logitech has something, like there's a cloud gaming one. Like, it's just everyone's got one these days, Nick.
Yeah, what do you think about the handheld? Because I think that's the most interesting thing
100%.
in the conversation. Do you think it's going to be like a digital only, like Game Pass?
I sure hope not, but I also think that that's their whole strategy. Like, that's their whole thing, is their cloud gaming, the X Cloud. I think they do have some sort of a deal for Ubisoft, but I think that's like in Europe or something. If I don't remember the logistics of the law of how their partnership works, but I do think that it makes sense for them to do the X Cloud. I just hope they don't, because look, again, I'm a huge handheld guy, but again, I have not gotten a PlayStation Portal because I just don't really use a cloud, or not a cloud, I guess streaming machine like that. I guess that's not cloud, but it's not a practical machine for me, at least.
Right.
Because you have to have good internet, and any dead zones, you're gone. I mean, and also limits the type of games you can play, and yeah, it's so. But hey, if it's working for you, I'm not, that's awesome. But there are a lot of these things, and I hope that they go for an actual machine that's has. Oh shit! Nick's gone.
Oh no!
Wait, no, I can hear. Wait, speak. I can hear you. It's just that I think.
Oh my god! I see him on the stream. It's like 1p. What the heck?
Oh my gosh, guys!
Can you still hear me clearly? Or
it's not.
breaking up?
It is breaking up. It's like you're doing a little bit. You're getting a little robotic.
Yeah, you're kind of the
Robotnik.
same on my way.
Huh.
Um,
Let's see here. So far, chat. Oh, there we go. He's back. We're good.
oh,
We've stabilized.
okay. I just closed out the YouTube stream that I was watching,
The
so maybe
stream
this
was
will work.
tanking the stream. It's a self. It's like the snake that eats its own tail. That was that was what just
It's the final episode. Just hold on. Just hold on. Bolts are raining down from the ceiling.
You have no idea how much duct tape is on just the outside of the frame for both of us. But no, go ahead. What's your thoughts? What do you want to see in handheld or handheld or otherwise coming out of Xbox hardware wise?
I have no idea logistically how this would work, but how insane would it be if they had a disk drive on this and you could just pop in your Xbox games,
Nick,
and it spins
Nick,
behind
hear
the
me
screen
out.
or something?
UMDs, buddy. UMDs.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious if they had to license UMDs from Sony to make Xbox games.
No,
that would
I
be
do.
so weird.
I do agree. I would hate to have it be another cartridge type of thing, like a new thing that I have to now also probably has some whack ass shape. It's a square probably. I don't want to deal with that on my shelf. I barely have room for regular sized cases. But yeah, I agree. I think that would be a far fetched idea. I don't think that's practical that they would have a full disk drive in that thing. But I like the idea though.
That would be what I would want, and then they could be like, "Hey, it's backwards compatible with your original Xbox and 360 games." But yeah, no, I think.
Wait, hold on.
Let me
pitch you the perfect play. Hold on. Let me pitch you the perfect Xbox handheld, Nick. It's like a little. Imagine like a 3x2 shape, right? And let's curve out the edges. Let's make it smoother to hold, and then we have it so it's compact, but you just slide it up, and then the controller comes out, right? But because it's compact, you can't. You got to do cloud gaming or digital stuff. You got to have digital stuff. And
are you describing the PSP Go?
For the name, we go for the name PSP Go. I think it would sell great in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down.
Look, PlayStation's not gonna do it. That's why I wish PlayStation would do it, but they won't do it.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I'm assuming it's definitely going to be more on the Steam Deck side of things versus like a PlayStation Portal kind of streaming device, but I don't know. Xbox is kind of, they hit more often than they miss with the hardware design for me. I know a lot of people don't like, Xbox One or some of the Series X series designs, but I kind of like them, so I'm sure whatever they come out with, it'll probably look pretty cool.
I agree. I don't like the Xbox One base. Like that one does, I will admit.
That one's horrible.
That one looks like a VCR. I didn't own that one. But I do think the Xbox, like once they got to the Xbox One S and like they got to that like kind of more angular, sleek design, I had a Xbox Series S before I had either PS5 or Xbox Series X, which I later went on to get. And I think that console looks really nice. It's almost like a little bit, because it's like so white and it has like a little accent mark. It's almost like a piece of like, you can put it out a little bit more and have it be displayed, at least in my opinion. But yeah,
I've always been a fan of the Series X. I've talked with a lot of people that don't really like the design of it. I like it. I like how dense it is. I like how
dense it is. Yeah.
It doesn't look like any other console. I mean, people say the same thing about the PS5, but I don't know. Something about that sleek monolithic design I really appreciate.
Yeah. I just I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast before, but I just wish they had that little Xbox button rotatable so that you could put it on either axle and or axis and not and have a good looking system, but because it has the
Mhm.
feet, it has the feet on the side, so you got to make sense that they would intend on it being laid down. Anyway, I
So
digress.
much easier to do that than with PS5, how you have that
It is, dude.
weird like stand
It is.
thing. Like,
Yes, absolutely. That thing, and then like you gotta tuck it in, and then like sometimes you put the screw in, and it doesn't close all the way. And yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's enough about PlayStation hardware.
yeah.
On a segment about Xbox hardware.
Do we want to go to the next Xbox focused thing here, or do we want to move to some
uh,
GTA?
we can stick to Xbox. We'll finish it, and then we'll go on.
Cool. The other big thing that I saw this week, I'm not sure if you checked it out, Sri, was the gameplay deep dive for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yes, I did see this.
Uh, this game looks really cool. I don't know what your thoughts are on it,
The more
but
they see,
I'm digging it.
this presentation I did like. I also, I mean, I don't know. Troy Baker has a really nice voice, man. I don't know. It's something about him. But I'm curious as to how it will land. All first impressions and everything have like the previews and stuff that have come out have all been pretty positive, at least what I've seen. Most seem positive, and so I'm rooting for Machine Games to put out another hit. But I don't know. It's weird. I feel like if I'm first person indie, I gotta have some sort of motion control, to get the whip action going. But no, on a serious
Sure.
note, I on a serious note, because I do remember playing the Wii game where you had the whip and you had to. I don't know if you played that, Nick. Um,
Mm-mm.
oh, it's a good one. Actually, it wasn't a good one, but I enjoyed playing it. I'll be honest, but I'm hoping it's good. But I personally just I don't know. It's something about the weird first person combat and everything just doesn't look right to me.
hmm
But
There's
here you go.
uh,
Go
were
ahead.
you done? Okay.
Yeah, I was done. I could
Um,
rant about it, but go ahead. I'll hear you out.
um, yeah, they're definitely taking swings with it, which I really appreciate. Like, obviously, we've talked about it before. The first person is like, huge. It's a risk for certain. Um, the the combat, I think, even after watching this deep dive, it's like we're just not gonna know until we have hands on with it
Exactly.
how it's
Right.
gonna shake out. I do get little bits and pieces of just like a fine degree of jank in like picking up items and stuff like that. But I think that's kind of like to be expected, like with this type
It's
of
the
game
game.
and
It's the
like the
game.
interactivity in the world and everything. But yeah, I like just how much different stuff we're seeing with like the mechanics. So like we have bits where we're off exploring. We have bits where we're puzzle solving. We have bits where we're platforming. We have bits where we're in combat, where we're stealthing. And it's like all of this sort of stuff kind of it feels like maybe it's too many different things at once, but
Sure.
then I watch it on the screen and I'm like, "Oh yeah, they kind of blend it in really interesting ways, or at least it seems that way from an outsider looking at it." So,
Right.
I think that based on the gameplay, it was a pretty decent sized video. It was like 15 minutes or something like that, I think. And the majority of that is gameplay, not like, just cutscenes or whatever, which I think we kind of criticized them in previous trailers for focusing too much on story stuff and not enough
Right.
about the gameplay. Um, this still isn't like an unedited kind of gameplay sequence. They cut around a lot, which I think some people might still see as a cause for some concern. Um, Pacing could be an issue, I could see, depending on like how long you're in each of these sections. But if they nail down a good pace in each like environment that you're in, of like going in, doing some story stuff, going off the beaten path and doing some side stuff, and then funneling back into a combat exploration kind of loop. I really like games like that, so I think this is going to end up being one of my favorites for the year.
Hell yeah! So it's a a game you're gonna pick up for sure.
I'm gonna re-up my Game Pass sub in December, and
Oh,
I'll
of
probably play it on
course,
there.
a smart man uses the sub.
Yeah, because at that point it'll have Black Ops 6. I can dabble in that, and I can kind of maximize uh, my money for maybe a month or two on Game Pass.
Yeah, I have been playing a little bit of Black Ops 6. From obviously it being on Game Pass, but I honestly have not touched multiplayer. Only played zombies. That's all I've done. But
That's what I heard you and Austin were talking about, hopping
yep.
into the zombies.
So eventually I'll play the multiplayer, and I'll make a big deal about it. But for now,
I want to play the campaign, and I want to get into zombies. But it's funny because earlier this year I was playing so much zombies, and now it's just
you're
like
zombied out.
Maybe I don't want to play zombies.
You're zombied out, man. Right when it matters, Nick. It's showtime. This is Black Ops. This is Black Ops 6, the future. No, I really want to play the campaign. Well, I keep seeing the commercials for the campaign, and I'm like, I'm already sold on the campaign. You don't have to convince me anymore.
I already have the game installed.
Yeah.
What's funny is, like, whenever I was playing zombies, I was playing a lot of Black Ops 3 zombies, which still feels like old zombies that I'm familiar with. Friends and I played some Black Ops Cold War zombies, which is what Black Ops 6 is, more closely related to. And it's like I like parts of it, but I also am like a little bit overwhelmed with some of the systems. So
sure,
I could easily see myself, whenever I get around to Black Ops 6, playing like a couple rounds and then probably dropping it, honestly. But
that's fair.
Campaign, I'm definitely interested in.
Yeah. By the way, before we continue, why is it last episode? You got to stick around for that one. And hi, Sri. Hi, Nick. Welcome back. Well, you got to say hi to Nick, and then you got to say bye to Nick because he's going away. I say that as if he's going to prison. We're sending him away.
I'm disappearing.
He's got to go back. The license is done. All right. What else is on the list? We got to come up with some name for this thing, man. The news.
Well, Sri, also, we should probably mention, in case people weren't there at the start, it's last episode, ... for now.
For now, parentheses, just kidding, quotes, clickbait.
So, absolutely.
Yeah. I couldn't fit all that in the title. I ran out of characters, so that's why it's just called the final episode. So, go ahead.
YouTube only lets you have 10 characters
10 characters
now
max.
For titles.
Yes, yeah. Yep.
Unless you're a YouTube Red member or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to confirm your face with an ID photo, and I was like, I can't do that.
All right. So are we still doing headlines, or are we moving on to something else?
Give me the last headline, and then we'll or the GTA headline, and then it is a stacked episode of Inbox, Nick. I'll tell you what, I'm making up for it lost time.
This was like a weird one that I wasn't expecting, but a giant patch came out for the GTA Trilogy Definitive Editions, the kind of remastered collection that people said was very, very buggy and like not great. And I was doing a little bit of watching some videos because people were like, it actually, kind of overhauls a lot of the visual stuff in the game. And it seems pretty cool. From the videos that I was watching on it, it's still not like perfect. But one of the big, eye-catching features of this patch is it adds in like a filter mode, and it kind of reintroduces, for lack of a better word, like color grading that the original games had that was missing in the definitive edition. So like a big kind of comparison point is San Andreas. The beginning of that game has like it has very warm, like orange lighting in the area that you're at. And the definitive edition just didn't have that. It just looked very like flat and bright originally. Right. But this has kind of added back in those kind of color variations in the different areas you go to. There's also, tweaks to how character models look doing certain actions from different angles and stuff that apparently were a little bit wonky, and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm glad to see that this collection is still actually getting updates that are
3 years later,
meaningful,
honestly,
and
yeah, good on them for sticking with it.
yeah. So I haven't personally picked this up, but after seeing some of this stuff, I'm like, maybe
See,
if I come across a copy
I was
soon,
I was debating actually picking it up, a physical edition when I saw it a few weeks ago at the store. I did not, because I did not know it had gone through all of these changes and looks this different now. But I do have. So if you have Netflix, you can download the game on mobile device. So I actually have San Andreas through Netflix downloaded on my iPad for the last 2 months. And Nick, I really am not trying to just continually plug the inevitable next season, but every time it just naturally keeps happening. But there's an idea that Nick and I've had for a while where it was going to be we have a whole episode where all we do is play, or we talk about games that we've played through cloud gaming. And I think there was one I was working, a side version of that, which was mobile games only. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll convince Nick to do that. Not that it would take much convincing, I guess, but I've been saving it for that. But we'll see. And with all this improvement stuff, I mean, hey, I'll go. I have a lot of traveling coming up, so I'll definitely need something to keep me entertained. And the Steam Deck is way too heavy, which is why I think the Xbox should be a cloud gaming device. Sorry, go ahead.
Light as a cloud. It advertises itself.
Exactly. All right, go ahead. Oh, wait, no, it's my turn. Jeez, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the final inbox of 2024, and I have an absolutely stacked episode for you guys. Nick, there are 10 games. Oh my gosh, 10
45 inbox games. 1 through 45. Which one?
I was debating, my pause was because I was debating if I should do 54 games. But I no, 10. There are 10. And so we're making up for lost time for the last few episodes that we didn't really have a full inbox. So Nick, 1 to 10, buddy. Where do you want to start?
Starting with number 8.
Okay, all right. Actually, you know what, Nick? I'll make this easy. I'll just do it in the order that they're in. That makes it that ruins the suspense, but it makes it a lot easier. So I'll do that. But let's just say, Nick, just say 1 for me.
1.
Oh, 1. Oh, that's perfect. That's what I had pulled up. So, number 1 on the list, it's one I've briefly mentioned before, but this is Mythwrecked Ambrosia Island. It has a release date now. So, this is from Whitethorn, from publisher Whitethorn Games, and it's developed by BAFTA-nominated developers at Polygon Treehouse. This is described as an exploration and friendship adventure game, and it's one I've honestly had my eye on because just it looks cool. We've covered it on the website before, so I highly recommend checking it out over on respawnstation.com. But the game has a December 5th release date, so it's coming out in just a few weeks, and it's coming out to PC via Steam, Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch for those of you who want your adventures on the go. So definitely check out Mythwrecked. Again, it's one of those chill games, and I always appreciate Whitethorn for their all very accessible, very easy on the. I'm trying not to be insulting, but I feel like I'm. I feel like I'm headed that way. I love them.
Relaxing loot.
Exactly. Cozy. If only we had a show for that. Cozy. Cool down. This is an episode of plugs, Nick. I've determined that. This is a game that literally caught my eye because it looks absolutely gorgeous. Ladies and gentlemen, this is VED. It's VED. This is a hand-drawn adventure game from Fulcrum Publishing and Kara Clan, and it's a unique RPG which they've spent 12 years making. It features turn-based combat mechanics and roguelike elements, which is pretty common these days. But the game tells a story of Cyrus, a young hero who sets out on a quest to become a master of sword and magic and save everything he knows from destruction. I really dig the art for this one. That's literally that's what I mean by it caught my eye. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Looks like it took 12 years.
It's a compliment. That's a compliment. Yeah, no, it looks really awesome. And look, I'll put a game on the show because it looks nice, because a roguelike with turn-based combat is a hard sell for me. You know what I mean? You have to do a lot to convince me to pique my interest about that. But here it is. Play now on all platforms. It's available on PC via Steam, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, and the Epic Game Store and GOG. It's on everything, Nick. You want this game, you can play it. I guarantee you. Unless you have like a Mac or something, I don't know. I don't think it's on Mac. All right, the next game. This one's really interesting. Another game from a BAFTA-nominated studio. This is a highbrow episode. We're here for fine art, Nick. So this is miniatures from BAFTA-nominated studio Other Tales. It's an award-winning collection of artistic and mysterious short story games, and it's available on on Nintendo Switch, PC via Steam and itch.io, and iOS. Not on PlayStation. Not a single PlayStation system. It's not releasing on PlayStation. Give up hope. No, this is a game that Rock Paper Shotgun describes as a, quote, perfectly lovely, unpleasant time. And the fact that they put that in the press release, that got me intrigued. Also, it looks really nice.
Has a very interesting visual style. It reminds me of like a children's book.
That's yeah. It does look like a children's book.
Like not necessarily like, like a cheap one. I'm trying to think like a Hungry Caterpillar or whatever. Like just kind of like,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Interesting visual style.
Yeah. Honestly, I think almost every game that I've put on the list is because first impression is just fucking strong. I think all of those have had a strong first impression. Last episode, I just woke up. You woke up. How long we've been going, Nick? An hour too late. Okay, you missed the big event. Nick cried, and he said how much he'll miss me. And I shook him off. So, all right, the next one we have is actually one. I think if you're actively on the internet, perhaps on what was formerly called Twitter, you might have seen this one making the rounds. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Songs of Silence, an action-packed, story-rich, 4-time strategy game. And again, it has to look good in order to get me interested in a 4X strategy game. So, Songs of Silence is a beautifully crafted mix of strategic campaigns and fast-paced tactical battles set in a world divided by light and darkness. So the game has a real-time combat, hero development, kingdom and army management, and you experience a roughly 15-hour story campaign. And there's also PvP and co-op multiplayer scrimmages as well. So there's a lot going on. But again, visually, this game looks awesome, and I think there are so many good games that I wish I could try them all, but I unfortunately can't. So if you play this game, let me know what you think. And tell them, respawn over here. I don't know. That's a lame tag. Nick, you should have told me not to do that one. Should have written it off the script.
Forex strategy is for smart people, and
I
my
know
dumb brain
we're not.
needs big sword and big gun.
I need look. I'm I need a one button max. You know what I mean? The less buttons we can get, the better for me. Okay, so this next one is from 11-Bit Studios, but not as a developer. This is one of their publishing ventures, which already hit PC a little bit earlier, but this is the Thaumaturge. I think I nailed that pronunciation. So all right, so no one understands inner demons and deep-rooted human flaws better than Viktor Slozlowski. Fuck, I hope I said that right. A seasoned thaumaturge who perceives the subtle imprints of human emotion while hunting folklore-inspired monsters hidden beyond the veil of reality. Developed by Fool's Theory, the game is a historically rich, character-driven RPG set in 1905 Warsaw. And again, after it's been out on PC, but it now makes its debut on consoles with a PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS release date set for December 4th. I've had my eye on this one. I was honestly going to go play it on PC, but during the release, I was just I couldn't get to it. We had a lot of games we were playing. So on console, I have even more motivation to do it because I'm naturally on the console. It's where I'm at. So the Thaumaturge. Check it out. We're on the back half, Nick. What do you think so far? The inbox. You think it's a good round? Do you think you're not blown away yet? Do you use something else? What do you think?
It's a good mix, but nothing's quite captured my fancy.
I'll do better. Not this next one though. I don't know if this one will pique your interest anymore. So I'm not gonna hype it up too much. But if you like pizza, then maybe you'll like Pizza Slice. In Pizza Slice, you play as Tolnil, who has inherited the family pizzeria from his grandfather. Take on the competition, grow your business, and see if you can win the title of the best place in the neighborhood. So two heads are not one. You must get the help of family businesses on the ground with your lazy cousin Alfonso by your side. This game has no stereotypes. It's they're trying to be as authentic as they can. The game's coming out next year, but you can wishlist it now. So obviously, if you don't know, wishlisting helps the game out a lot, especially for smaller developers. So if you have any interest in essentially a pizza shop simulator, then go wishlist Pizza Slice on Steam. You know, it's a human.
I'm a big fan of pizza, so that did pique my interest a little bit.
Okay, that one got you. Nick is unpredictable today, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know what we're getting. Here's something that I will throw in here. There's no visual. Oh, I could pull up visuals, but you guys don't need visuals for this, all right? Nick, do you know Hello Neighbor? Right, those games.
I'm familiar.
I didn't know that they had this huge audience. And to their good for them. Like the fact that they have this really strong audience that they are continually getting support from. They're so popular, in fact. Nick, did you know that they have an animated show?
I don't think I did, but maybe I had heard of that a while ago.
Well, did you know that there's on season 2 of this show? Well, Nick, now you know that there is season 2 of Hello Neighbor, and it actually just ended. Well, it's an animated show that actually looks pretty awesome. I do plan on watching it because it reminds me of like a old Cartoon Network show if you look at the art style and stuff. But anyway, getting back to the topic, at the end of season 2, they teased Hello Neighbor 3. That's incredible. So Hello Neighbor 3 is on the way. It's the new installment in the survival horror stealth game series known as Hello Neighbor. Dude, this is so awesome.
That's a fun way to do that.
Yeah, I had no idea that the game had such a strong audience, that there was this 2 seasons of a show that I am compelled to catch up on. And what better way to hit your target audience than at at the end of your a season of your show.
I've seen like multiple like different releases of Hello Neighbor games, so I knew that it must have been like kind of a quiet giant at least that they've had enough for multiple games. But yeah, uh, that's really cool. It makes me wonder if any of these bigger adaptations that we see will do similar things, but I feel like it's probably so much harder. Something with like Hello Neighbor, I don't know exactly how long the development cycle for one of those games might take, but
Sure.
I imagine it's not as much as like a big AAA game. So like they probably have a better idea of when something like that would be coming out, and so that they could plant a seed like that in, a season of the show and have it pay off with relatively,
Right.
not a whole long time of wait.
Yeah.
Whereas
Next,
The Last of Us season 2 might put in like a tease for
yes.
part 3, and then
Yeah.
it'll be like a decade before that pays off.
I wish. Now, next up is a quick one, but it's called In Sync, but no, not like that. It's In Sync, SINK, from publisher Quali and independent developer Clockout Games, which is essentially a co-op puzzle game. It's in the likes of like I don't want to say like Don't Stop. Oh, was it Don't Stop Talking the Bomb? What was that game?
Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
That's the one. You could see where I was going there. The title was almost there.
Don't Stop Talking, Explode.
Exactly. Well, I was almost there. It's sort of like that. So In Sync features 8 levels of vibrant cartoony visuals and language-free puzzle design that means anyone can play. The prologue is available now on Steam, and it gives you a little bit of a taste on what they can, the kind of the escape room type of gameplay that they have. And also, really cool way that they've done the trailers for this is that they've essentially gotten clips from other streamers and stuff to kind of show the co-op aspect of the game. Pretty good way to do it. We didn't get invited, Nick. No one sent us codes. But no, it's okay. In Sync looks awesome. If you want a co-op experience, then go check it out. I joke too much, Nick. I gotta stop. I gotta be more serious. Some people will like click in for one of these and be like, "What the hell? This guy's taking it very personally." All right, next. Oh shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to punch the mic. I was just getting a little angry. Next one. I meant to actually include on last week's episode, but this is Rogue Point. From Team 17 Digital and Crowbar Collective comes a new tactical shooter called Rogue Point. So here's a setup. Close your eyes and go picture this. The richest man in the world is dead. Cutthroat conglomerates seek to carve up his kingdom. Using the Mercs app, rival businessmen can order private mercenary armies as easily as ordering takeout. Only Rogue Point, an elite indie vigilant squad, dares to fight back. And that's Rogue Point. So you can go up to with up to 4 players and play together as this elite team called Rogue Point and engage in challenging missions, as they say.
The name Crowbar Collective piqued my ears. I was like, where do I know that from? They did Black Mesa. I was like, I was pretty sure that was the Black Mesa's team. What? And then, I just looked it up and they have Rogue Point on their website. That's interesting.
Look at that. Yeah. So a roguelike tactical co-op shooter from the developers of the Half-Life remake. Black Mesa. I've lost count, Nick, but this is the last one. I think we've arrived at the last. This is it. Look at that. He picked the right number. Ladies and gentlemen, the final game of the inbox of 2024. This is Sea Frog from, I think it's Oh My Me Games. So Sea Frog is a 2D platformer, and it's inspired by classic 2D platformers of the genre. So dive into the vibrant world of Sea Frog, where all ages can enjoy the thrill of skateboarding merged with the classic 2D platformer genre. Play as an adorable trainee frog mechanic alongside your companion Captain Woodsbird. After walking the plank of your previous ship, you find yourself adrift in the depths of an old legendary sea hole. Your only chance of survival is to repair the derelict ships and solve tricky contraptions and gather fuel to save your hinds. Sorry, I didn't nail that. Let's take that again. To save your hinds. But yeah, Nick, did that pique your interest?
There's a lot of things in there. Platforming, skateboarding, pirates.
I did save that one for last. So that
I was going to say, you picked a good one for me for last.
I know my target audience. But of course, if you liked any of those, be sure to check them out. They're, to speak specifically for this one, it's coming soon to Steam, or to PC via Steam. So keep an eye out. Again, wishlist any of the games that look interesting if they're not out yet, because it goes a long way in helping the developers out. And so, there you go. That's the inbox. Now, Nick, we're about to head into the part of the show that you got no idea was happening. You got no idea what's happening.
Right.
So, yes, and I'm not joking, by the way. Nick did not know that he was about to walk into a game show until we were live. Nick, how do you feel about this?
I have a feeling that I might embarrass myself, but we'll see.
What do you mean embarrassed? What could you possibly do to embarrass yourself, Nick? This is a friendly game show. There's nothing to be stressed about. Honestly, no. I'm it's an easy, and you know what, ladies and gentlemen, you can play at home. Keep score and see how you do compared to Nick. But ladies and gentlemen, let me get into the. Hold on, Nick. Let me turn around and I'll come in. Welcome to the season 1 finale of the Respawn Station podcast. Now, I am joined by my co-host, the beautiful Nick Sivak, and he is about to be taking part in a 10-question quiz about season 1 of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, you can play along at home, like I said, and the exciting part, Nick, if you do well, there is a prize at home. At the end, at the end. There is a prize at the end. But of course, before that, I'll give you some rules, Nick. Sorry, let me just progress. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is not a multiple choice. There's no multiple choice here, just a question. And it gets harder as it goes. There are hints available that I will provide you should you need, but it is only one hint per question, Nick. So, use them wisely.
Gotcha.
And there is a prize at the end, like I said. I ruined that part, so just ignore the fact that you act surprised now. There it is. Natural. Natural. Beautiful. All right, so the first question, Nick. Oh, shit. Hold on. Hold on. Are you ready for the first question, Nick? I should have asked you. I didn't want to jump you like that,
Yes, I am ready.
Nick, when did the first episode of the podcast go live? 10 points to be won. If he passes the class, he gets the prize.
So,
let's do some math. Let's reminisce.
I'm going to have to rack my brain because you're going to think this is a weird way of going about it.
No. Walk me through your process. Walk me through your process.
I know for a fact, hopefully. I don't know for a fact.
I know for a fact that I hope.
I know for a fact that the thumbnail for our first episode was talking about the Battlefront Classic Collection.
You are correct. You are correct.
So it had to have been in there around when that game came out.
What an interesting way that you've ended up at where we need to. But go ahead.
I think it was after my birthday, I'm pretty sure. So I think it was in April. April 10th. That's what I'm going to guess.
April 10th, 2024, and he's locking it in. When did the first episode of the podcast go live? The answer is March 20th, 2024. Nick.
It was before my birthday. I thought we started after my
birthday. It was an hour and 24 minutes, and it was about the best / worst remasters, remakes, and reboots, I think is what it was. By the way, we've come a long way since then. That was I've looked back at that title and been like, wow, that's a terrible title. We could have done better. I think we've gotten hopefully a little bit better. We
or
at that point,
the last episode.
Yeah, we need to innovate. Honestly, the title now could still change. We don't know where it's going to go. It was me running out of ideas. But the best, worst remasters, remakes, and reboots. What a wide title. Need to make that more compact. Mm-hmm. But hey, March 20th, you did not get that point, but there's still 9 more points to be won, Nick. That's how this works. You already have the 10 points. I'm going to take one from you every time you get it wrong. I think we do things differently over here. All right, Nick, are you ready for the next question?
Yes.
All right. Nick, how many episodes total have we had? Without looking anywhere, without looking at the episode you're looking at now.
Well, I was going to say, because it's not exactly clear to me, because I don't know if the interviews count as numbered episodes that we've done, and that would change the full answer.
I cannot tell you anything. Unless you ask for a hint. But that is something you have the availability to do.
Okay, I'm going to ask for a hint. Did the interviews count, or is it just purely off of what the number is in the title?
Count. They do count. The interviews do count, so.
Well, that also doesn't help me because I don't know if they're numbered or not. I should have asked that.
A valuable question missed, but
okay,
it's only one.
I'm going to assume that they are not numbered episodes, the interviewed ones, because they are kind of like separate but still episodes of the podcast. So I'm going to say 38 episodes.
38 episodes. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 37 episodes of the Respawn Station podcast. That's it. You lost another point. So here's the thing. Here's how it works. So there's the all the episodes that are numbered are actually numbered accurately. But so Nick, I don't blame you. I was also confused when I was going through this. So essentially.
Wait, okay, I'm guessing, so 36, it's numbered accurately, plus the Fallout TV show bonus episode?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I forgot about that one.
Yes, yeah. So it's 37, including this one, obviously, like the one that we're currently doing now, which, of course, we're currently live. Nick, are you ready for your next question?
I guess.
I'm putting you through the ringer. Nick, how many episodes of the show were live? Including this one. I'll throw that one in there for free.
Okay.
I also
both the interviews were not live. The Fallout bonus episode was not live. Trying to think if we pre-recorded another one or not.
This is yeah.
See, this is what I meant when I said that I was gonna embarrass myself. I have such shit memory when it comes to this.
It's total, Nick. Don't worry. I also have a similar experience. I'll make you feel validated. Don't worry.
Okay.
We're just here to put on a good show, Nick. That's all we're doing.
No, because the pre-record was the other interview. Okay. So if there's 37, I'm gonna say 34 episodes were live.
Nick says 34 episodes of the Respawn Station podcast were live. And there were, in fact, 35. but 34, not including the one we're currently doing. And you know what, Nick? I can give it to you. I can give it to you.
Okay.
I can give you that one. So 34 episodes, 35 if we include the one that we're currently doing right now. So there you go. Hopefully, Nick has retained a point. Nick, are you ready for the next question? Though?
Not quite full of bullet holes throughout all this now.
Nick, are you ready for the next question?
Yes. Next question, please.
What episode did Nick get a new mic? And actually, I'll let you. I'll let you. If you have it, if you want any hints, you can let me know. But obviously, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a hint on this one. There's no way that I'm gonna know this one off the top of my head.
Okay. The hint. Oh, so you just want a random hint? It's not a question that you want me to answer?
Yeah, just give me a hint.
Okay. The hint is that it's double digits. And I'll also say, not that I don't think this is the deciding factor. I don't know if you would necessarily get this, but it's not the episode you first get it, because for those of you who've been watching the show, you'll remember the first episode he got it and we didn't actually use it. So the first episode he actually, uses the new mic and you can hear the difference. That's the episode I'm going for. So what episode did Nick get a new mic?
Yeah, double digits. I've had this. You got me this mic, like, we've been recording with it for a little bit now. So my gut instinct is about like halfway through this, but
that makes sense.
I remember we were doing coverage for a game, and not to mention whatever person or company this was, but I remember they gave you a point of criticism that my mic was noticeably worse.
Yes. I remember this. Yeah.
Let me try to see if I can go back in the archives and remember what game that was. It was
but it was a little bit after that though, so I wouldn't necessarily go off of that. I think your earlier train of thought was you're getting somewhere.
Was that a game that we both played?
I don't remember what that game was. I honestly don't know. That's what I'm saying. So, the other train of thought was where you would end up. I think you were going somewhere.
I'm going to guess, and this is a shot in the dark based on my initial line of thought.
Sure.
I'm going to say episode 17.
Episode 17. All right, let's see. The answer. What episode did Nick get a new mic? 16. Episode 16. It's episode 15 is he actually gets it and then he doesn't do, like, it's not on, or it's not the right one. Episode 16. It's we're talking about our favorite games of 2024, quote unquote, parentheses, so far. And it is crazy going back and listening to the old mic and then now having the new mic. It's like, oh snap. It's like there is, you can see the difference.
It did make a difference. My mic was noticeably worse.
Yeah. And now we know what Nick sounds like and looks like in HD, of course. Nick,
Dang, I was close on that one.
dude, honestly, that's what I was saying. When you said like going halfway, I was like, that's it. That's close. That's the train of thought. Then you started talking about the game, but that game was like, I think like a few weeks before, like, we actually ended up getting the mic, so wouldn't have gotten you as close. All right, the next question, Nick, is what console appears? What is? Ignore the terrible grammar. What console appears in most of our titles? I'm gonna get rid of that fucking atrocious grammar. Ignore my apologies.
Ooh.
I'll fire Ollie. I'll make sure Ollie's fired after this. He made the presentation.
What console appears in most of our titles?
And so obviously, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, or Nintendo. Just generally Nintendo. So that's how I did it. Not Switch specifically. Just Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. What console do we have in most of our episode titles?
I know we definitely have used Xbox in more than like 2.
Okay.
I don't think it's Nintendo because I feel like the only one that I can really remember is the one recently where we were talking about Alarmo. I think that was in that title.
Yeah.
I would say Xbox, but Concord is throwing PlayStation in a lot because I feel like we had like State of Play and did you say Sony or PlayStation?
PlayStation
specifically. PlayStation. Okay, because I think we had Sony's Destiny or whatever when we were talking about Bungie.
Sure.
Or maybe it was PlayStation. Man, I don't know.
It's okay, Nick. There's no pressure. There's no pressure.
I think I'm gonna go with Xbox. I'm gonna go with my first instinct on that.
Okay. Interesting that he did not even ask for a hint. He's confident. He's confident in this one. So what console appears in most titles? Question mark? The answer is Xbox. That's right. We talk about Xbox the most, in good and bad. In both contexts, mixed. Not, I won't say equally, but mixed. But also, PlayStation and Nintendo tied for second place. So there you go. A fun fact for you guys about our content. I think
Concord was really throwing me for a loop there. I was like, I feel like we talked about that for like 3 different episodes that would have had titles for it. So
yeah. No, it's I think Xbox because of we were talking about like Xbox Game Pass. That was we mentioned Xbox. If there was a partner showcase, that was Xbox, and then there's also like the Xbox presentation, the game showcase, I guess, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Xbox is the most. We talked about the most. Nice, Nick. You've retained the point. That's what I like to see.
And without a hint.
Without a hint. Yes.
There's some pride restored there.
Okay. The next question. What characters were featured on the overlay for the first few episodes of the show? The early watchers of the show will remember that our overlay was a little bit more crowded back in the day. We had some characters that were on top of the screen accompanying us. So, Nick, what were the characters featured on the overlay for the first episodes of the Respawn Station podcast?
I know one set of characters, but I don't remember if that was the first one or not, because they did change at one point.
They changed like 3 times? 2 or 3 times?
I remember you put Tiny Tina on one of them, but I know that wasn't the first one because we were talking about Wonderlands. Should I go with my first instinct? I could use a hint here.
You can. It's your choice. Unless you're asking, your question is, should I go with my gut choice?
Well, my question for a hint might be too direct. I don't know. You can tell me if this is too direct or not.
Okay.
Was my character Link? If that's too direct of a hint, then I can think of something else.
I will tell you no, it is not.
Okay, so if mine is not Link, then it would have been Arthur Morgan and I believe V from Cyberpunk.
Using a hint, Nick says Arthur Morgan and V from Cyberpunk 2077. And the answer is Arthur Morgan and V. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that coming throwback to old. We've come a long way in one season, ladies and gentlemen. My background alone has been devastated from where it was to where the blank wall that it is now. And look at that. Nick used to be live in night vision, and now he's here in full quality. So there,
I'm in a Mr. House mode from New Vegas.
That honestly, we can reminisce about certain other things as we go. But let's continue. Nick, are you ready for the next question?
Yes.
Nick, what is our most popular episode?
Ooh.
I would urge you to use a hint about me to explain what that means, so for your context.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll take the hint on this one.
So the metrics for this is what episode had the most reach, and that means not just. And this is going to be a key point for you, I think. But you're going to have to. I'll continue. It's the one that has the most views across everything. Now, you don't know the stats.
Across like Spotify and all that.
Yes, but there are certain videos on the YouTubes that have done pretty well that I think will have literally dictated the case for this fucking victory here. It is not even close how much of a destruction this is in terms of stats from first place to second place. I'll say that much for sure. Did I over-explain? It's my show. It doesn't matter. So, Nick, what's going through your head? What's going through your head? If you can tell me, how do I want to say this for you? If you can, I'll give you multiple outs for this. All right, I'll give you, if you can give me the episode name, or if you can give me the topic of the episode, or if you can give me what games we talked about in this episode. Whatever, either one, whatever comes to mind. I would go for one, the easiest one, but go ahead. Whatever the easiest one is for you.
So, based on all of that criteria, I do have one key path that I'm thinking.
Okay.
Initially, you kind of tipped your hand a little bit here, Sri.
I did.
Initially, I was considering the Fallout TV show bonus episode because I remember you said that reached out pretty good, but
yes,
we didn't talk about other games in that, so I think I can cross that one off my list.
All right, digging into my words.
The one that I know got a lot of views, at least the clipped out video that comes to mind, is the message to Sean Murray, where we were talking about No Man's Sky.
Right, you are correct. Yeah.
As to what we were talking about in that episode, because I feel like that wasn't a main topic, was it? That was like
it was not. It was not.
Thing.
But again, if that's what you think it is, you can say that topic, and that will also count. Like that is also a valid answer. That I will.
Then I'll
accept.
say the No Man's Sky thing if that'll count.
Okay. Nick says when asked, what is our most popular episode? He says the one where we talk about No Man's Sky and it's a message to Sean Murray, which did in fact get quite a bit of traction. Is it the number one? Did it reach the most? It's episode 21, the end of Bungie, but not because we were talking about Bungie, but because we had not one but two clips from that podcast go huge for us. I mean, we're a small channel. The Modern Warfare 3 episode hit 2.2K views. And there is on that same episode, Nick, we also talk about The Evil Within. That clip went on to get 1.2K views.
Oh, I forgot about. Yeah, you said that The Evil Within was doing pretty well. Yeah.
So both really good, and so honestly, those stormed away. I mean, together they made up for so much of the stats that I was like, it outweighed most things. But here's the thing I didn't really notice. Shout out to everyone who's joining the channel from the Botany Manor review. That review has picked up a lot of views since it was our first video that we put up on our channel, and seems it's been hitting people's sub boxes or inboxes eventually. So welcome to all the new people from that. Now,
right on.
Nick, I told you, Nick, this is gonna get harder and harder as we go. And you're going to laugh at this next one, but this is a serious question that I'm asking you, Nick. What is the third biggest YouTube search that drives traffic to our podcast?
How do you even find this out? Is this like...
It is a stat that we can access this. We can access this information.
The third biggest YouTube search that drives traffic to our podcast. So is this just like a general thing, and then our podcast kind of gets populated under that, or
your hint here? So essentially, this is what I'll say. I'll give this as an example, right? So like, if someone's searching Modern Warfare 3, and they, our clip comes up, right?
Our clip will come up in there, okay.
Right? Then, so like, what search of the YouTube search? Third biggest YouTube search that drives traffic to our podcast.
This is a hard one.
Go ahead. I can't.
No, you go.
No. I'm not going to give you any more hints. I can't keep giving you hints.
Okay.
You didn't actually ask for a hint. If you have a hint, then I'll actually give you a hint. But
third biggest YouTube search.
And let me tell you guys, the third one will shock you.
Let's see here. I'm trying to think of maybe something that's a little bit more salacious on our side.
Oh,
when we go out of our way to talk about something a bit different, because I don't think it'd be anything like layoffs or anything that would be driving clicks that we usually talk about.
Sure.
Do
you have any questions I can give you?
Let's see. I guess. Well, I could ask one, but I feel like it'd be a waste of me asking it.
Well, here's a fun fact. Of our total, and by the way, this is for the podcast, right? For the total traffic that we get to our channel, these YouTube search traffic makes up 11.3% of it. So keep that in mind.
Huh.
But that's a fun fact. That's distracting from the main question. That's just a fun fact for you guys to explore. Just think about while we're talking about this.
Okay, so now I'm trying to think of recurring things that maybe we would have talked about.
Yep.
We talk about a lot of gaming events, but I'm not sure any one of those would have been big enough to hit third biggest spot.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a hint question.
Okay. What's your hint question?
Is it pertaining to a game that you or I have talked about on multiple occasions?
Very specific question, and I will say no.
Okay, that throws my guess out the window.
You can go for it, Nick. I'll back you up.
I'll say X-Defiant gameplay.
X-Defiant gameplay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. When asked, what is the third biggest YouTube search that drives traffic to our podcast, Nick answered X Defiant. The answer is Sivak. That's right. Your last name is the dude. Number one at 22.3% is Summer Game Fest 2024. Number two,
That graphic is insane.
number two is EA Imagination to Creation. That's that cardboard demonstration thing. And then number three, 4.1% is Nick.
What the heck? That is an insane stat.
Dude, you're outpacing Ubisoft NFT game
NFT
right
game.
Did not know.
That's so random. What the heck?
Did not know Nick had this pulled. Incredible. Oh my gosh. Nick, we are on the last question of the show. And you know what? I'm going to give you I'm going to give you an opportunity of a lifetime, Nick. You get this one and you will get 50 points. Okay, so all you got to do is tell me, Nick, okay? What character is this? I sent you an audio file, and we're going to listen to it together at the same time because the tables have turned. I'm the one asking Nick, what character is this?
Oh.
So.
Okay, let me find where. Okay, I see this.
Okay. So I'll count you in for when to play it, and you just got to give me a name.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. Hold on one second. Let me just make sure. Okay. 3, 2, 1, play.
Back to you! Back to you! What
character is this, Nick?
So, this character, I'm not sure if it has a name directly, but in a video that we made back in college, called, I believe it was Corner to Corner. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Corner to Corner.
You're correct. Corner to Corner.
I was playing a newscaster that got pulled into a dark and shady alleyway.
Okay. What's your your answer is
Corner to Corner weird newscaster that's pulled into alley played by me.
Wow, that's exactly what I put. No, it's Reporter Nick. It's reporter. You get the point. That's who it is.
Reporter Nick.
Congratulations, you've just won 50 points. I don't remember how many points you had before that, but it's 50.
I was gonna say that I had the fake mustache on. I'm glad you have this picture.
50 is a lot. 50 is a lot. So, Nick, with that, you didn't. You won, and you might be asking yourselves, what did I win? Nick, ask yourself that question, please.
What did I win?
You won a copy of McPixel 3 from Devolver Digital and Sosowski. I'm so sorry for that name. McPixel 3 is a mind-blowing save-the-day adventure that sees the titular wannabe hero avert one disaster after another at every turn using unconventional yet entertaining methods of mayhem. And that's
Devolver Digital. My boys and girls.
I knew the audience. So there you go, Nick. First season conclusion. You won the big challenge. How did you feel that the tables were turned against you? What character is this? How did you feel on the other side of that?
Oh, I loved it. I figured if it was a game character, I was probably in good spirits, and then all I needed was that first second or so, and I was like, "Oh, I got this in the bag."
Yep.
That was a really fun quiz, though. Dude, that mic question busted me up.
I was putting this together earlier today, and I was like I was looking through. I was like looking at all the stats. So like as I went through, I was like, I was looking at our analytics. I was like, what do I find that could be interesting? And I stumble upon the YouTube search, and Nick is pulling in the viewers here. I had no idea the man had this kind of pull. So yeah, it was a fun one.
That's so random. Like all gaming related things, and then just my last name.
Dude, well, you don't know how OP you're, man. You're just built different that way, I guess. But yeah, hopefully you guys played along and you had a good score. I don't know. Again, you gotta have to. I doubt most people got the last one, but 10 points. So how many were you able to keep? Let us know. Nick, do you have a like this, try that for the finale?
Sure, just because I've been playing it recently. I didn't bring it up in the what I've been playing because it's not necessarily a game that I've, played for the first time or anything, but I'd say if you like roguelike games, like Rogue Legacy or Hades, play Enter the Gungeon. I've maybe used this as a like this, try that before, but I'll just say it again because again, I just hop back into it again.
The show.
And yeah, I'm fairly confident in saying it is my favorite roguelike game. I think the gameplay is almost perfectly designed. The actual length that a run takes, I think, is really nice. There's a nice difficulty curve, but it also feels like you're always leveling up and unlocking new things. And yeah, it's just a really fun game. And I own multiple versions of it. I have the Platinum Trophy on PlayStation, and I've just been chipping away at the Steam version while listening to podcasts recently and been having so much fun with it again. So that would be my like this, try that for the finale.
Hell yeah. It feels weird. I've for that hosting part, I took my mic off the stand. I'm freeballing it, and it feels like, I don't know, it changed the dynamic. I feel like now I have to live up to some other standard.
Reporter on the scene.
Yeah. Back to you.
Back to you.
I genuinely, I have to say this, Nick, that moment, I so frequently think of it, and I think it's entirely based on your pronunciation of that phrase. Like, it's because you could have said that in any way of like back to you, you know what I mean? But the way you pronounce it, back to you, that it sticks in my head, dude. It's like lives rent free. So it had to be the question.
The thing that lives rent free for me is the bit when we had my old janky siren on the table, and like one of you guys hit the table and it lit up, and you go, "Oh!" We cut away from it. That always lives in my head.
Yeah, the caveman discovering fire. The primal instinct that breaks through for like a second as this siren lights up. Yeah. Very interesting production. We got to do some more of those, Nick. We got to figure something out. We had a whole string of these kind of like, let me tell you guys, Nick, when he has a fake mustache on, is like an unhinged character. There's the potentials there are endless. So we got to explore some of those next year once the schedules quiet down a little bit. All right, so for me, honestly, I was debating between of what to suggest because I'm not going to prolong the episode too much, Nick, don't worry. But like we'll probably, when we come back next season, we'll talk about our favorite games of 2024. I'm looking through my list, and I'm not necessarily going for the best game I've played this year, but like some of the games that I think are memorable and worth recommending. Spin Rhythm XD, for example, comes to mind. Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip, if you want a short one. There's a good smattering of games that I have that I would recommend that you check out. But I'm going to go for one that, personally, it's... Actually, I'm going to go for two. I'm going to go for two games. I know I'm getting crazy, Nick, but I got to do what I got to do what I do.
It's the finale.
It's the finale. Got to go out of the bang. So here's the thing, right? There's two games that I've played a while ago, that I finished a while ago, that I wasn't a huge fan of just like when I was playing them. I think that they had a little bit too much jank, for lack of a better word. No, I'm not going to say that. How do I say this? These two games are games that I think got better over time. One of them I loved the whole way through, and it's kind of gotten better as I think about it. The other one I was a little bit more mixed about, but then it just, as it sits there and as you kind of think about it, I think it stewed a little bit better. And I think both are ones that not a lot of people will have heard about or have played. So the first one is Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. This is from Frogwares, who've done several Sherlock Holmes games. I haven't played all of them. This is the only one I've played. And the first time I played it, I just did not like the mechanic. Like, it just didn't click with me. So I really had to set myself and say, okay, I'm gonna finish this game. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna commit myself to it. And once I took the time to understand its mechanics and everything, it really came together. So if you like sort of detective, like LA Noire detective stories that don't really hold your hand. I mean, the game doesn't even have a mini map. It doesn't have a mini map. There's no waypoints. That's what I mean. So you have to go around. Like there's descriptions on your notebooks like oh, it's in this area, and so you have to kind of make your way that way. Stuff like that is just really interesting and to play with. And so Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, and the other one is Ghost of a Tale. If you know me, you know I like mouse stuff. Anything with a cute little mouse protagonist. Or rats. I'm cool. No joke. I just watched The Tale of Despero last night. So the Ghost of a Tale is an action RPG, a very low budget indie title, where you play as Tilo, a little mouse that's kind of on this large, supposed to be this larger than life quest, but you're trying to get off this island where that's full of rats, I believe, is the main antagonist. Again, I'm saying I don't want to say anything wrong, so I'll say allegedly. It's just to back myself out, but it's a really crazy game. I mean, it's also pretty difficult. It's a one hit, if you get hit once, you're out type of thing, because you're a little mouse and there's just rats wandering around. But it's so freaking sick. It's so awesome. It looks cool, and there's just the vibe of this game is so unique that I just absolutely loved it. So those are my two recommendations. With that, Nick, anything else you got to say to the people before we right.
Well, while we clickbaited you all, this isn't like an actual end, as Sri has alluded to multiple times. This is more like a season break.
Yes.
We definitely want to keep doing this, so
yeah.
More is on the way.
Yes. We've clickbaited you enough, but now we need you to come back for next time. So don't unsubscribe. You can head on over to watch.respawnstation.com to watch all our highlights. And also, WeSember Season 2. While I'm away, I'm going to have some stuff go out so that there's at least, one or two videos a week, hopefully, if everything works out. That'll be cool. And I'm very, I'm very, very excited to tell you guys what's going on, what the big news is. It's number 3 will shock you. But with that said, as always, thank you guys for watching. Nick, thanks for co-hosting, man. That was it's been honestly did not feel like we've been doing this for this long, and yeah, I think we both agree that
we've been consistent. We've been
We
consistent.
did not. Yeah,
That was the biggest thing.
Yeah, and honestly, that was my biggest worry, that we were going to start this thing and we'd like at some point stumble, but we did not stumble. And I think I speak for both of us that we would actively keep going if it just, things, if dates didn't kind of appear the way they did and plans didn't come up the way they did. So, so we'll be back at it once everything kind of clears up a little bit. And man, I'm excited because once we're back, it's going to be a good, so much stuff. You're gonna have a good time. So.
And Sri, I gotta say thank you for hosting this and handling all of the, streaming and posting and all that stuff. I'm just the pretty face that comes over here and talks for a couple hours, but you do all the hardcore work, so I appreciate that, and thank you very much.
Hey, thank you. I'm in good company, so hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to us talk, because we like to talk. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the inevitable next episode. And I say inevitable because it's going to happen. And until next time, people, as always, have a good night, a good morning, and a damn good time.